I remember the day that the Thula approached me and said, let's start a nonprofit. And to me, having no knowledge of what she meant, what the vision was, anything of that nature. And I just simply turned to her and said, okay, let's do it. And she proceeded and get the paperwork together. And all of this stemmed from her experience, my experience from Hurricane Floyd. People was displaced, a lot of unanswered questions. People didn't know where to go to get help. And with myself, I never considered myself being an advocate for change. But at the same time, when she said, let's start a nonprofit, I'm saying, well, why not? And from there, we first started off, doing financial literacy classes, home ownership workshops, addressing the concerns that the people in the community had, such as lack of education. I remember the first listening session that was done, where she went out to different churches, trying to find out what the concerns of the people was. And that is how we kind of structured, if I could use this term, our focus at that time. I think it was in early 2004 when we were introduced to Dr. Steve Wing, Naima Muhammad. Steve Wing was associate professor at UNC Chapel Hill. Naima was one of the leading people at what we call now the Environmental Justice Network. The executive director at that time, I think, was Gary Grant. But that was my first taste of getting involved in research. And with that particular project called the Chill Project, I recognized that there was a lot of things. You begin to talk about negative health impacts and what we was forced to live with. I had a task of recruiting people from different communities, not just in Duplin County, but surrounding counties, to be part of a research project. And later on in 2007, I really realized and learned how important that was. I learned in 2007 when we received a grant from US EPA, and it was a collaborative problem-solving project, that it was ever so important to involve the research in everything that we did, because regardless of what others may say, people believe the science. I remember talking with a state representative at one time, and he questioned our involvement, our engagement with the research. And I simply turned to him and said, hey, you take any medications for anything? And he nodded and said, yes. I said, well, there was research done. And then I can think back, and I think around 2006, stepping back a little bit, when we were asked to participate with in testimony at the Pew Charity Commission. And that was a federally formed commission. We learned a lot. I experienced a lot. That was the first time that we really had to travel and present and be asked questions about what we were exposed to, how to cope with it, what people thought. So from there, of course, we just kept doing the research. We later co-produced a documentary called Swine Country. We played a vital part in the nuisance lawsuit, and I say that kind of in a way that to me it's not one of the most powerful things, but at the same time, it is. Even though Reach nor myself were plaintiffs in that lawsuit, but that was something that the people wanted to be involved in. Reach supported Senator Justice, Carolyn Justice, when we were drafting bills. We later signed on and really supported the Albertson bill. I think at that time it was House Senate Bill 467. So in the travel and learning, but mainly for myself, I felt comfortable being in the background of things. I consider myself being a shy person by nature, so I just let the thriller take the lead, and I worked in the background. Um, I will say the work that Reach has been engaged in the past 20 years, uh, I consider myself as being blessed to be a part of this work. Uh, I don't see how someone like me that was raised in rural Dupont County, when I look back and see how I've had to travel all across the country, presenting, talking about the facts, the issues, and the research, just I don't see how I fit in. I didn't see how I fit in. But at the same time, I recognize this is my story and can't know anyone tell my story but me. One of the things that sticks firm in my mind right now is the events in 2018. Namely, I think at the beginning of the nuisance lawsuits, one of them, and that was the same year that we took a 21 delegation of people to the DC asking EPA to come down and, look at our issues, when it comes to what we're living with. The other, and also within that same year, we received our Title VI settlement from NCDEQ. And the first part of that year, I think in February of 2018, is when the Reach Board of Directors held their annual retreat at Carolina Beach. And our focus then kind of shifted just a little bit. And we came out with a motto, a slogan that says, educate, empower to lead. And we've taken that, we ran with that. We developed a pie chart. And so we knew that we had to stay focused and grounded in what we was going to be doing for the next three years. We're looking at strongly at another term or slogan, and we're saying growing your own. So with that, we know that we have to prepare the next wave of leaders, whether it's environmental activists, county commissioners, state reps, you name it. So education is going to be a big part of what we're doing, and supporting. And with that, I'm looking to the Reach Board of Directors and saying to them, help me push this. I'm looking to our funders and our partners, in different organizations, and saying, help us push this, because again, I believe that, and I'm looking at my age as well, that we have to prepare the next wave of leaders. In all, when I look back, over the past 20 years, and I'm sure that the Thula can say the same thing, that I never for once, imagined, at the beginning, that the ladder that we're on now, we would have climbed so high. But I had to thank the people, our supporters, our funders, the community at large, because there is no big I and little U in Reach. In fact, there's no I at all if you look at Reach. It's REACH. So with that being said, again, I thank you and you for all support. Again, to our funders, the former board members, and the current board members, and all those that's present here tonight. Thank you.